Ludora, meanwhile, remained safe in his castle guard, immobile as it stayed activated. Or he should have been. Huh. Velgrynd shouted out first, but we were all in a state of shock. Removing castle guard for just a moment, Ludora had just stabbed the chest of Velgrynd, who had run up to him despite her missing arm. It almost looked like she did that on purpose. Oh, yes. That man, my beloved Ludora, is no more. Tears fell from her eyes. As if to prove it, Ludora laughed loudly. Ha 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 ha. Velgrynd, you should be honored to be of service to me. I will put your power to good use. As he spoke, the other Velgrynd crouched down in pain. That was Yuki's lifestealer's skill. Ludora, or Michael, I suppose I should say, has the power to control the abilities of whatever he controls. Whoa, what a cheater. Ludora and I exchanged looks. Okay, how about I have you fight Ludora? What? Don't be ridiculous. There's no need to argue with you about whether I'm the strongest yet again, but I don't want to deal with someone who looks like such a pain in the rear. I'll make you a parfait for dessert. That is tempting, but Velgrynd looked at us dumbfounded as we tried to palm the job off on each other. It made her stop crying, at least, which I was glad to see. Anyway, Ludora now had Velgrynd's power. What did you mean when you called him Michael? I had an idea, but I wanted to hear it from her mouth. Ludora, you see. He reached his limits long ago. He reincarnated himself so many times that it wore his soul out. What you see there is Ludora, but it's also not. He's long been replaced by Michael, Lord of Justice. She looked sad about it. Oh. But how can a skill born from the desire of its owner not even cause harm to that owner? No, it's not like that. Michael was a power given to him by Veldanava. It was Uriel, Lord of Vows, that Ludora acquired out of his own volition. And now that my elder brother Veldanava is still not resurrected, that ultimate skill has gone missing. Oh, I guess I have that one, don't I? But now doesn't seem like an apt time to mention that. Velgrynd went on to explain that, basically, Ludora's repeated reincarnations may have weakened the power of his soul enough that it made Michael impossible to control. She made it sound like the skill had betrayed him, but really, it felt like something different to me. Indeed. If I were in the same position as Michael, Lord of Justice, I would aim to revive you, my true master, even if it meant taking over a temporary host. That's what I thought. As a Monas, I knew that Ciel would never give up on something, no matter how impossible the challenge might be. I couldn't help but understand Michael's thinking as a result. But that doesn't mean I accepted it. Well, we can't let this be. Michael's probably evolved into a Monas with free will. And if he has, then what he's trying to do is the exact opposite of what Ludora aimed for. A Monas? What is that? Wait, Rimuru, you think Michael is trying to do something? Well, he's trying to resurrect Veldanava, isn't he? And I think he'd be willing to make all kinds of sacrifices to achieve that. That, I explained, was why we couldn't let this slide. I could see Velgrynd's face go pale. And then, at that exact moment, someone new showed up and did something to the Velgrynd facing Ludora right now. That is the mystic Lord Feldway. Diablo let him go because he reasoned that he couldn't defeat him, but it seems he has returned without his friends. If Diablo can't beat him, he must be pretty damn powerful. Or maybe he just didn't want to put in any more hard work today. Ah, well. Feldway was good, using dominate space to attack in ways even an awakened demon lord would have trouble resisting, and he was aiming it all at the other Velgrynd. Wounded and weakened, she didn't look like she had any way to resist it. Ha 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 ha. My dimensional transfer has erased Velgrynd from this world. Now there are only 2 true dragons left. A good sign for the future, Ludora, or should I say Sir Michael. Now Feldway was calling him Michael, too. Velgrynd's guess was just proven true. Rimuru halted Benimaru and Diablo's sudden counterattack via thought communication. He wanted to observe Michael, noticing a strange substance leaving Ludora's body to protect the unconscious Velgrynd. Not bad. Velgrynd's power is now my own, and Ludora is gone. Now all that remains is to capture the power of Ludora and Velzard, and his resurrection will be complete. Ludora Michael accepted this as a matter of course. Now we were sure of it, my enemy was Michael, not Ludora, and his goal was to fully revive Veldanava the Star King Dragon. Wonderful news indeed, Sir Michael. Yes. And Velzard will not be hard to deal with, but Ludora could prove more troublesome. They kept talking for a bit, wholly unconcerned about Benimaru and the others. But that's to be expected. Xian, Testarossa, and the other allies I didn't stop all tried to attack, but Castle Guard blocked everything. Feldway, of course, was also protected and unharmed. Real bad news. But enough about that. Ludora. That's Ludora, right? There's a piece of him, a piece of his soul, right there. I thought only I could see it, but I guess Velgrynd could sense it, too. I wasn't sure if she could or not, but I suppose she was trying to track down whatever was left of Ludora. Here, calm down, Silence. I have to go now, or else it'll disappear. She begged me like a child, crying out in anger. I used Mind Accelerate to stretch out time for us. It was now exclusively me and Velgrynd. Listen, calm down. If you go out right now, you'll just have your mind taken over by Ludora again. But she probably knew where he had been sent off to. But she was headed right for a dead end. There was no guarantee that she could return to this world, and saving Ludora was beyond a dream at this point. Pretty much impossible. There is no way out for you like this. Shut up. Then what do you want me to do? I can't just give up on Ludora like this. Those were Velgryn's true feelings. And now she was exploding with so much rage that she didn't realize it was Ciel talking, not me. There is a possibility. If you accept my ability adjust. Ah, sweet temptation. I didn't need to ask her twice. I'll take it. If it'll make my wish come true. I figured there was no way she'd ever say anything else. The moment Velgrynd agreed to it, a voice rang out. Velgrynd's will is confirmed. The first thing we are going to do is cut out the interference on Raguel, Lord of Relief. Guided by a reassuring voice, Velgrynd examined her heart core and discovered her ultimate skill, Raguel, was under dangerous interference. Though temporarily blocked, the threat remained. This was the cause of it. Now Velgrynd realized it. And she also remembered that the ultimate skill Michael, King of Justice, had a power that was a sort of counterpart to Regalia Dominion. It was something I had heard about a long time ago, too. The powers created by Veldanava, in the pure form, are referred to as angelic. All of them cannot resist the absolute control of Michael, a thrall known as Ultimate Dominion. Velgrynd's Raguel is no exception to this. A very narrow corridor had been built connecting it to Michael, and it was impossible for her to escape its influence. That's right. How could I have forgotten? Anyone with an angelic ultimate skill could never disobey my older brother. He hated it most of all, and that was why he exchanged it for Ludora's Uriel. Now she understood why she was being controlled. Her brother Veldanava had constructed this whole system, and it was next to impossible to resist it. No, there really isn't any way out, is there? Rimuru was right. And Velgrynd wanted to cry her eyes out over it. But just as she was about to give up, she heard a strange voice. Preparations for Raguel, Lord of Relief, are now complete. I will merge this with the no longer needed Uriel, Lord of Vows. Huh. Velgrynd almost shouted out loud. It was only natural that Uriel, which she sought out for Ludora's sake, would be found here. And now Velgrynd realized that the voice she had been hearing was no longer Rimuru's. She wasn't just hearing things. It was a clear, powerful, strong-willed voice. It was very similar to the world language, but softer and more refined. It even had a little tenderness to it. She had a lot of questions for it, but what mattered now was the meaning behind its words. Well, wait a minute. Are you going to give me Uriel? Or what did you mean by merge? If it has no choice but to follow Michael's will right now, then all we have to do is modify it. I discovered a control corridor in Uriel as well, so while I discard it, I thought I would use it as food to create a new ability with, exclusively for you. It was absurd, an answer full of silly nonsense. But Velgrynd only cared about one question. If I do that, can I go look for Ludora? I affirmed that it is possible. If it was, there was no need to hesitate. Velgrynd gave her consent with all the hope in her heart. Or, Velgrynd, I have already confirmed your intention, so there is no need to give your consent a second time. I will now activate ability adjust. That voice Ciel had no intention of stopping. The moment it launched ability adjust, an unbelievable surge of power swept through Velgrynd's body, gently enveloping her. Velgrynd the Flame Dragons Raguel and Uriel will be merged to create the ultimate skill. Cthugha, Lord of the Fire God, succeeded. Ciel declared it to the world in his solemn, otherworldly voice. And at that moment, Velgrynd was freed from all her yokes. When I nodded my agreement with Ciel's words, my Uriel was transferred over to it. I'm not sure if it's my fault for giving the permission, but I think it's only natural that I was so stunned. Like, having Uriel be the bond that links us as friends. Not a problem. The Uriel that was merged is only remnant. Its essence has been taken over by the new skill Shub Nigurath, Lord of Abundance. What? I had a million questions to ask about this. Something told me that Ciel was doing all kinds of amazing things without my knowledge. I was almost afraid to ask, but either way, Velgrynd deserved my attention. Everything had worked, and I was glad about it. Congratulations, Velgrynd. Now it's safe to release you outside. I smiled as I spoke to her. She just stared back at me, face all contorted. I think I understood why, so I looked away from her. There are so many questions I really want to ask you, but I'll skip them for now. So are you going to let me go? With Ciel's confirmation, Rimuru understood that Velgrynd could now use the skill Uriel to track Ludora's scattered soul fragments. Though gathering his shattered heart across the world seemed nearly impossible, Rimuru felt she would find a way to succeed. Okay, now, release. So the three of us returned from the spiritual world to the real one. Time was still stretched out for us as we said our goodbyes. Thank you, Rimuru. I'm sorry for all the trouble. Yeah, I hope so. I got a lot of complaints about you too, you know. But I kept my mouth shut, since I didn't want her to get angry. I'm sure you can connect with your parallel existence now, so I don't think you need to worry about getting lost. After that, I know things are gonna be tough for you, but good luck. I tried to be as safe as possible with my support, but my sister, please don't forget if things don't work out, I'll always be here. So don't wail in despair. Just do the best you can. Ludora had a big smile on his face. I can't believe how terrible he is at reading people's moods. Velgrynd seemed at a loss for how to respond. You really are stupid, aren't you? Ah, my stupid cute little brother. I'm glad you're alright. She smiled shyly. Then she stared back at me again. Don't ask me why. When someone that beautiful looks at me up close, I get so nervous that I can't even move. She just shook her head in exasperation as my heart raced. Well, see you later. And with that, Velgrynd elegantly teleported away.